we got our dinner, we got a strip search, got our gear and stuff, got our photo, and because I was in my suit, you get a photo that happens to be the photo that's on your cell door on the wing, and it was a camera. I didn't even know where the camera was. He was like, "Oh, look up there," and because I was in a bit of a weird mood and stuff, like I looked up in a weird pose, weird little smile, and the camera's in the corner, and then it turns out there's a fucking big picture of me, all the fucking rude boys and dodgy cunts in a prison, and there was me looking fucking weird in a suit, just in a big photo on my cell door. Fucking embarrassing. And high downs, all like all the walkways are elevated, and so you're quite high up. All around you is just cell windows, 3 stories high. And then as we're walking along the walkway, because people can see out the cell windows and see it's all lit up and see it's new boys coming into the prison all with their bags and that, everyone's just going, it's fresh meat, just shouting stuff out the windows and stuff. And it's the stuff that I've seen and watched on films for years. It's like, it was just unreal. It was so surreal. I just couldn't believe what was happening. And I had to plug the weed up my arse to get it into the jail. So when we got into the cell, I had to be one getting that out. And the toilets, you might as well be in the cell with them and that. And I had to fucking basically stick my fingers up my arse and pull this dirty bag of fucking weed out my arse and wash it. And that was pretty good. And anyway, skinned up, and it turned out not even really to be a worthwhile spliff. It was pathetic because I given Will half of it. And obviously, I wanted to cane a bit down before I passed it, and they was just like Will was just basically getting into my head, like in jail, you share. Like if you've got your last roll up, you share it no matter what. And he was like, no, Josh, fucking pass it and that. And then so I had like a third of this little spliff. It didn't do fuck all to me because of the state I was in. I'd just been fucking sent to prison, and my girlfriend, I didn't know where she was and all that. It was madness, and I didn't get caned at all. And the guy that we had shared a cell with was fucking mashed. He obviously hadn't smoked in months from being in prison, and he was just chatting madness, going around cleaning shit and fucking just on one. And like it was just kept us up for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Everyone in jail is just on about fucking banging weights and getting big. And so I built up to like 400 sit-ups a night in my cell, and I didn't get a six-pack at all. I just got a huge hernia. I phoned my ex-girlfriend, and I said to her, I found a big bubble. I found this like air bubble in my pubes. I can push it down, and it just pops back up. And she was like, is it painful? I was like, no, it's not painful. I don't know what it is. And I didn't go to the doctor in prison with it. I just sort of like carried on doing sit-ups all the time, like doing the weights in the gym. Then I got out and went to the doctor, and it turned out it was a big hernia, and I'd ripped it from doing too many sit-ups and stuff, because you're supposed to leave it a day and so before you let your muscles rest and rebuild, but I didn't. And yeah, and then we got moved to A Spur, which is just the same wing but another part. And that first night in that cell, the next day it turned out that the boys that then got moved into our cell from our cell being empty, because the guy that was sharing the cell with us, he went off to court and never came back. And so he must have got moved to another jail or something. And then yeah, there was 2 white boys and a black geezer that got moved into that free cell that we went into. And that night the 2 white boys got raped. Yeah, the black guy beat them both up and raped them both one after the other. And it was a bit of a like, fuck, you know. The next day I thought, what if we hadn't been moved out and just that geezer had been moved in and that, like rah rah. And then I thought, well, it's a bit odd that both of them got raped. It was 2 against 1, and like I thought, what was the other one doing whilst one of them was getting raped? Like, what was he doing? Like, making a roll up, getting his trousers down or something. The second we got sent down, all 4 of us had put in an appeal against our sentences, and finally 3.5 months in, like 4 months into our sentence, we finally got the appeal date in court. And so it was the first time that me and Will had seen Tom and Darren, and we'd all 4 had seen each other and stuff. And we got to the court in the morning, and it was the Royal Courts of Justice, one of them, the big ones in London, and it went on for about 3 or 4 hours. They were talking about our whole lives. They had dragged up everything from the past. Everything got a mention, and I thought, yeah, it was looking quite good. And then we had to go out and wait for another couple of hours, and then we went back in. And Tom, who got the 13-month sentence, got 11 months taken off his sentence. So he would have potentially been out a few months after that on tag because of the big reduction. But me, Will and Darren didn't have any reductions at all, and I thought, well, it's not too savage. I'll have my tag soon and stuff. I'll be out, and yeah, and then we came out the courts, and me and Will only had like a couple of minutes throughout the day, literally a few minutes to talk to Tom and Darren, and it was just like, yeah, cool, I can't wait to get out. This is savage, like, rah, rah. And we were being quiet, we were just chatting to Tom, and Tom had a black eye and a bust lip, and we just thought he just had a random fight like you do in prison and stuff, and didn't think anything of it. He didn't make out anything to us. He didn't seem that down or upset. We were sort of chatting away, and then we had to all get locked back in our cells. And the only time that we had a suspicion something was up was when Tom said, "I'm not going back to Camp Hill." Camp Hill is a prison on the Isle of Wight that he was at. He said, "I'm not going back there." He said his family are having to pay loads of money for a ferry each time and drive down from Beckenham to Portsmouth just to go and visit him. I knew I felt like something was up, but I couldn't pinpoint it because he hadn't let on that anything was up. And then later on, like, got taken back to Rochester, and then we're back in the wing, and it was a Wednesday, I believe, that our appeal was, and on the Friday I'd got credit, or the first time I got credit I think was on the Friday, and I phoned my girlfriend at the time, and she was just like, "Josh, I've got some really sad news for you." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "No, I don't want to tell you till you're out. I don't want to upset you until you get out." And I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I thought it could be anything now. I was like, "Just tell me." And eventually she was like, "It's Tom. He's dead." And all of a sudden I thought, "What the fuck?" And I thought for a minute she was like just messing with my mind or something. I thought she had made it up. And so it just happened that Will stood behind me waiting, and Will, for days, he was just like a ghost on a wing. He was just dead, like, just he'd walk past me as if he hadn't even seen me, sort of thing. And it was just really weird. It hit us in a strange way, because I didn't even feel real, because we had seen him a couple of days before, and I was just getting out of prison, and it was just it was a big fucking, more than a spanner in the works, but it just fucked everything up. It turned out he hung himself. And I didn't know anything until I'd got out, and I only recently found out what had actually gone on and what had actually happened, and everything behind it. And now we've lost a friend because of it. And now I'm getting to know all of his close friends that I didn't know at all when we were painting together. Because now I've moved up here, it's his hometown pretty much, is where he lived and he grew up. So I'm now getting to know the rest of his life that he had before I knew him. The police officer, the BTP officer that was heading the case, that was in charge of everything, and it was his name on it, he said to the press, "I'd rather see them go to the cells than go to the morgue." And he's done that. He's sent Tom to the morgue by sending him to prison for graft. And that's how we feel, and that's how we felt. And it was just a complete contradiction. And I just thought this is now proof. Tom's fucking tragic death has now proved that it's not the right thing to do to send a fairly crimeless kid to prison for graft. And we're walking towards the gate, walking through, and it's obviously really, really high fences and stuff and big walls. And then we walked to a little gate and went through, and then there was just a tiny little gate, a normal door-sized gate in the big fence. And they just opened it and was like, "Yeah, cool, see you later. Alright, I hope to not see you back again," or something. And it was just that split second, that moment of walking through this little gate, and all of a sudden I've seen what I just saw through the little sweatbox window on the way there before. All of a sudden I'm actually out of prison. Prison hasn't reformed me, and it hasn't changed the way I feel or think towards graffiti. And all it's done really is put my family and my friends through a lot of grief and wasted a big chunk of my life. You know, the years I spent on bail and on tag, and then going to prison, the apprenticeship I lost, and now I've just started getting everything back together. You know, I've just got my life back in order, and I'm just starting to be able to work towards what I want. and it's taken years out of my life because of that. But since us being sent to prison, since our crew's been sent to prison, there's been like 30-40 writers being sent to jail in Britain over the last couple of years for painting trains. And a lot of people don't realise it. And every single one, all of the naughty boys in prison, they were in there for all sorts of things. As soon as they found out we were in there for graff, they just laughed at us. They laughed at us. And what a waste of a prison cell, what a waste of money and resources, and what a waste of people's lives. There's a lot more productive things that can be done to try and tackle the problems of graffiti in this country, because it doesn't have to be a problem at the end of the day. And the no-tolerance approach that the police and the government and the courts are putting on graffiti isn't going to work. It's never going to work. It hasn't worked with drugs, and so they're using the wrong approach to try and tackle it in a positive way. So things have got to change, and I want to help to do that.
That only needs the thought of you to grow. So if you feel the need for company, let it be me.
Graffiti's always going to be a part of my future, because graffiti for me I just feel like an artist, and graffiti is just one of the more modern forms of art now, and it is an art form. That's undeniable. I've just had a website made, which I've put in my portfolio online, and trying to get out there and make some money and do stuff that other people want to see. You know, if I'm asked to do commissions, other people actually want it there. They're going to appreciate it because they asked for it to be done, and they're paying me to do it. So yeah, trying to get more commissions and make some money. Just started driving. I'm moving from London. I've lived here a couple of years now, and I'm moving back to Tunbridge Wells, back from where I'm from, mainly because I'm having a baby. I've got a little daughter on the way, and she's due to be born in just over a couple of months' time. So it's very exciting times, and the next year is gonna probably be mainly involved in changing nappies and screaming baby. But it's all good. I've just got to make sure I still find time to do my artwork. I want to be hopefully successful enough to be selling artwork and paintings all in the world, maybe, and making a lot of people happy. And make a living from it with other people loving it too. But in 10 years' time, I want to be on my way to making it. And I believe I can. I know it's just going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of hours to put in. But I'm there. That's what I want to do. I'm not going to stop till I get it. Definitely.